So I'm going to introduce you to my friend Tom, also known as MrHyde on Substack. Tom makes these amazing custom action figures, and I gotta learn more about this stuff. Tom, what are you doing? What's all going on here?
Well, basically, during I used to get like custom action figures on, from eBay sellers and from other people, because I didn't feel I had the ability to do it. Then during lockdown, when everything was shut down, I was like, you know what? I'm bored, so I got the raw materials, and I just kept picking away at it until I started to learn all the different techniques. So now I can pretty much, depending on the complexity, I can probably whip up a figure in under 2 or 3 days.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So,
It's more kit bashing, meaning putting them together than actually making stuff because I'm just not that good at it. So I combine like different heads, different bodies, different pieces of the costume go together. So
well, you're selling yourself short, my friend, because those are freaking amazing. I gotta ask now, when you say you're kit bashing, do you start with like 3 1/4 inch figures, or are they different size,
well,
like lengths, or what's going on there?
okay, well these are all 1.5 inch figures. That's the scale that I use. They're about 6 inches. I used to do the 3.75 inch, but then my neuropathy got so bad that I couldn't maneuver you know, the paintbrush and stuff. So then I switched to the 6 inch figures, which actually works out a lot better because there's a lot more options
Can
since the
you
six
can
inch.
you can you stick your hand in there just for scale so we can see how
Sure.
big they are? Okay, so yeah, so they're about yay big, give or
Yeah, about
Okay, cool. All right, keep going. Sorry, I've interrupted, but I was very curious how big they were. It's hard to tell on a small screen, particularly.
yeah, no. So I started with the 6 inch, and I'm actually happier with it because there's a lot more like clothing options and part options for the 6 inches because they're so so numerous.
Excellent.
So I can find different parts for figures very easy. This is my the figures I have here are all characters in the story I'm working on, which is like a pulp action with some supernatural elements to it. And because I always loved the two-fisted daring dude, dangerous dames, femme fatales kind of thing.
Uh,
I think it's a lost art in a lot
I
of cases. I
could,
was
could not agree more.
and it's actually I find it to be very enjoyable because what I like to do in my art in my stories is I subvert expectations in a positive way. So I like to take characters who are like people would think were stereotypes and then make them into more interesting, complex characters. So this one here, the main one is Caleb Steele. He's well a lawyer friendly Doc Savage, if you know what I mean. He's
Fair
he's
enough.
a man of all, jack of all.
You're talking to a public domain guy who lives on the line, so I totally get it.
He's stronger, faster, tougher than the average than the most athletes. So he's a fun character because I can have a character who's like positive masculinity. Like he protects the weak, he helps people out, that kind of thing. I also gave him a jetpack.
Whoa,
He has
cool. We talked about this.
jetpack, kind of like a little bit like Rocketeer in the movie, or like Crash Corrigan from Invasion of the Neptune Men, that kind of thing, because he can actually withstand a jetpack better because his skin is tougher, so he doesn't have to worry about breaking his legs.
Right? Doesn't need the asbestos undies we were talking about, so that's all good. That's excellent.
The next character here is Captain Nomad. He's Captain Nemo's son.
That's awesome.
And what he has is I wanted to have a character who has physical deformities he can't always work around. Like for example, he's missing part of his left arm, so he has a harpoon here that can attach and
Like you do.
attach with what have you. But he also has a clockwork mechanical hand that attaches to it, so that way he doesn't lose a lot of fine manipulation when he needs to. But he's missing an eye, and over here I decided to recently um, put in with a little an artificial peg leg with scrimshaw.
Nice. That's amazing.
Thank you. And the third character is a new one I just figured out. He is a Native American shaman,
Okay.
and he's really like the big supernatural kind of thing, but he's not. Again, we're walking a fine line here between keeping him interested. He exists in two worlds in the sense that he's half white, so he has that half that he has to deal with, along with staying true to his American Indian roots because of the spirit. So I always like characters who are torn between two worlds, so to speak, because it's a nice way to bring in a balance to the character and also write better stories, I think.
I absolutely love it. You do what I'm sort of looking at trying to do myself, but you do it in a whole different way. You're trying to sort of balance two worlds like that, or to approach them with a different. That's fantastic. I absolutely love it. When you were talking about your character with the peg leg and the harpoon hand, because I mean, who doesn't want a harpoon hand? Come on, but the clockwork hand is ingenious, man. That's fantastic. My
Well, I oh, I'm sorry.
no, no, go.
Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to differentiate him a little bit from his father. I mean, first of all, I'm a big sucker, if you will, for generational characters. Living under they're under the shadow of their predecessors, but they're trying to carve out their own path. So, Nomad was not really a warrior the way his father was at first. He was more of an inventor, a scientist, that kind of thing. So when he took over the mantle, he had to become that, become a warrior, become a fighter. And he used his inventing ability to give himself a clockwork hand so he wouldn't lose a lot of with his fine tuning and mobility, if you will.
That's fantastic. I actually use a character from the 30s by the name of Hop Harrigan. And he's actually, you talk about sort of a legal friendly Doc Savage. My Hop Harrigan is going to be, he's going to be my legal friendly Steve Austin. I mean, $6 million man, guys, not the wrestler. We already have this one. He, my Hop Harrigan character has an artificial leg. It hasn't been revealed yet, but he also has an artificial arm that
Uh-huh.
higher abilities than an average human would have in those limbs. But again, there's like you, I've taken it and found a different way to do it so that it's not just, my version of the $6 million man. My thing is he's got an imbalance because his right side has these artificial limbs that have so much strength. Well, try to imagine trying to run with one leg twice as strong as the other, and now you got to run, jump, kick, whatever. There's going to be some problems with that. Same with lifting things, all of
Right.
those parts of that they in the show, in the 70s show, they didn't really pay any attention. Nobody, like he's got one strong arm and we'll just focus on that. Well, now imagine trying to lift something with two arms and this arm is way stronger than this arm. That's going to be problems. There's going to be all kinds. So I'm looking at taking that part of it apart and putting it back together and enjoying it. And what you've done with your guy, the clockwork hand, I cannot wait to see this clockwork hand in motion. I want to say you got to like do something to animate it or something because
I wish I could. I don't know how. That's the thing.
we'll talk. There are ways we can do. I'm positive I can help you find something to make that happen, even if it's only 6 seconds of video. But it exists. The people keep telling me how evil AI is, but man, I'm telling you, when I can take an idea, pump it into AI, and it pops out a little animated thing at 6 seconds long, that isn't evil to me. That's a fantastic tool. I'm not saying that I'd love to have a human do it, but I couldn't afford it if I tried. There's no
Yeah, it
chance.
would be very expensive. By the way, she's Captain Marvel into Mary Marvel, like the one that you posted, like that, right? Because that was
Exactly.
phenomenal.
I love doing that to take those ideas. And at the moment, I can't afford to go spending a lot of money on this stuff. I don't have accounts at Grok to make longer videos or anything like that. I'm limited by the tool. It's a free tool, but there's so much I can do, not just to replace human animation, not to replace my storytelling in prose, not to change then replace comic books, to add to it. Suddenly I can put when I'm posting a chapter of a story, I can put a little animation at the beginning of it that gives you a sense of what's going on in the story. How cool is that? I mean, come on, that's
Catches
a dream for
catches
me.
the eye and the attention. Catches the eye.
Exactly. And I mean, we're gonna pump pictures of your figures into Grok. You and I are gonna figure this out. We're gonna make some stuff happen here. I promise you. This is cooler than I can imagine. That's fantastic. I absolutely love it.
Now, please tell me what you're doing.
Whoa. How much time you got? I'm gonna start with a couple of things. First of all, I bet you there's people out there are looking behind me going, "The hell is all that? What's going on back there?" This is real. That's my real wall. Those are all Star Trek comics. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen my kitchen where there's counters with covers of comic books on them. The floors are done as well in epoxy. And I ended up with a stack, huge stack of comics with no covers on them and nothing to do with them. So I made wallpaper. And that's what
Big.
that's all about. That's number one. The other thing I wanted to show you, this is can I get far enough back? I'm wearing one of my shirts. This is Conrad Veidt from The Man Who Laughs. It's hard to tell in this light, but it's colored with halftone dots like comic books, like old school comic books. These are available at my store. This is my favorite. I sell a bunch of shirts. This one is my favorite. I love this shirt.
I have the Spy Smasher one, and it's phenomenal.
Love the Spy Smasher shirt.
It pops right off the shirt.
Absolutely. And I saw your picture with it in purple, by the way. Well, good choice. It's available in every color you can imagine, guys. You don't have to buy a purple one, but Tom and I recommend the purple.
Yeah.
But the Spy Smasher, and again, full disclosure, I did not paint that picture. I mean, I couldn't paint that well if I tried. That was one of these serendipitous one of the very first things I ever tried in AI. I literally pumped in, show me a superhero in a World War II flight helmet and a yellow cape. And that was it. That's all I gave it. I didn't give it and that picture that Tom has on his t-shirt is what came out. I just about dropped. It was so good. I was like, oh my, wow, is that amazing? And I understand the pushback on AI. I really do. And I'm working with a human artist for all of my covers now, interior art, all that stuff. I get it. It's taking, in some cases, it's taking people's jobs, and there are other objections to it, but it's a tool and I use it. And I'm not going to apologize for that because occasionally it's the only thing that works. But it has its uses. So,
And the next big question, please, when are you going to release the next book,
ooh.
especially with Dr. Challenger?
Okay, so Tom has just purchased and reviewed The Rock of Eternity, the Challenger Papers, which is the book I published in March, a little bit late. Usually I try to publish first 2 days of the month. This was a little bit behind because I had some personal stuff going on. It's March's release. April's release will be Nevermind. Nevermind is the sequel to my Captain Marvel debut, which is called Say the Magic Word. And Nevermind will follow the adventures of Freddie Freeman, another character with a limb difference, ironically enough. Freddie has a prosthetic leg, and Freddie's a fan of Hop Harrigan in my universe. So that whole thing ties together with what we were talking about earlier. As far as a follow-up to Challenger, I haven't got a specific timeline just yet. I try to put a book a month in each one of my houses. So the one that I'm publishing in April will be the 8th book in public domain superheroes, and that will be 2 books in each of the 4 houses. It's the second one in the House of Dread in the horror section. And then I don't necessarily do them in any specific order, but in general, it's sort of Justice, Crom, Sci-Fi, Entropy, and Dread. But sometimes if there's a better idea, I might flip it around. Challenger. Go ahead.
You have to be flexible. You have to be flexible with your writing. When the lightning bolt hits, you have to take advantage.
Exactly. You talk about Challenger. I hummed and hawed about what house to put him in because and you've read the book. He fits, and that book particularly fits all 4 houses quite well. I mean, he's an adventurer, so he fits in a House of Crom, Swords and Sorcery type stuff fairly well. he's a sci-fi guy because he's hanging out with Captain Nemo, who is, steampunk sci-fi all the way. He's a superhero because he runs into Ibis in the story, and
Mhm.
he's the original, well, not the original, but one of the previous incarnations of Shazam and Captain Marvel.
Mm.
And it dread because he runs up against invading Martians, and it's a scary. That he fits everywhere. I put him in Crom because he's an adventurer, and it's more his story than anything. But
Right, but I agree with you. I was actually reading it going, I wonder where he's gonna end up, what house is gonna claim him, because again, he fits so well in each one.
he totally does. And ironically, Professor Challenger was never on my radar at the beginning. Like, not even, I didn't even think about him. In fact, I avoided Sherlock Holmes. We have friends on Substack who are doing Sherlock Holmes stuff.
Yeah,
I'm loving it, and is amazing. And I'll be honest, I can't write Sherlock Holmes like that. I don't write mystery novels. And I didn't want to use him particularly because he was intimidating. He's an intimidating character with a ton of lore and fans that are rabid about, using
right,
Sherlock Holmes.
right. The main thing is you wanna do it right or not at all. That's
A
the
hundred
thing.
100%. Thing is that now that I've used Challenger, I have this great idea for Holmes. I have this fantastic. I'm like, oh my god! And James Lowe, who is another Substack, he and I are we're collaborating on something that's going to be announced fairly soon. We're doing something
Ooh,
fun with Sherlock Holmes and Tarzan, of all things.
oh,
I hope I haven't
that
spoiled anything for it. And it's going to be part of Public Domain Superheroes, but it's not going to be a novel. It's not going to be a book. We're going to do something else a little bit different. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. James I mean, he did a quick sketch of one of my ideas in about 30 seconds and just about knocked my socks off. I was like, man, how do you do that? That's not fair. But we're working on something that's coming. It won't be tomorrow, but it's going to be soon. We're going to be doing some, and I'm hoping what we can do is that we'll drop some sketches, we'll drop some stuff as we go, not just a full, final. Because this is Substack, right? This is all about process, and we love the process here.
I agree. It's so exciting.
Oh, totally. I would love you to
Mhm.
do one of these figures. I don't whatever figure you're going to do next, and put up um sort of progress pictures when you're done. So show us like the figure you started
Oh,
with
I
and all that. So I'd love to see all that in video if you can. But I mean, somebody asked
oh,
me to video when I was pouring the epoxy in my kitchen. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Like, my foam will be cut like, an epoxy.
well, I might be able to swing that, it depends, because, I'm working on, a female samurai character,
Super.
and I might be able to that's gonna be a strict kit bashing, and the only reason why I say that is I don't have access to a 3D printer. That's first and foremost. And, but yeah, I'll see what I can do about that. That would be pretty fun, I think, to show you the step by step that I do to make the finished product.
100%, man. 100%. I just today, the guy who does my art, or one of the artists that I work with, he put up on Instagram a process piece of one of my interior pieces that I contracted him for. And so he's got this lovely little video on Instagram. I'm going to try to figure out how to get it on Substack. I haven't quite got all that figured out yet because I can't. It's the Instagram is not really friendly when it comes to like putting it somewhere else. So I'm
No.
hoping he'll send me the video and I can show you guys. But it's phenomenal. It's so cool to watch this. Like just from a blank page to a beautiful interior sketch that I've published in one of my books. Oh my god, how cool is that? Well, yeah,
Oh,
we don't want to take up a whole ton of your time, guys. It's been almost 20 minutes. Tom, tell the people what you're working on next, aside from your female samurai. What's going on for the next thing we're going to talk about?
well, the next thing I'm gonna be talking about after I finish her is I'm going to start working on, like, the broad outlines of it, because, what envisioning is that, at least for the first story, they're going to be taking on the 1930s mob, and I have a
Nice.
whole bunch, of interesting villains as well. And the big bad, I'll just simply say, is actually a character from my Victorian era uh, storyline that I ported here, because the villain is so engaging, because he doesn't. If you haven't, you know how villains are, especially nowadays, you always try to like to soften them a little bit. There's no softening him. He's
Nice.
completely depraved and evil, and I think he's a good counterpart to the heroes, especially to the Pope heroes are usually daring do and do the right thing and everything. And this character was just, I tell you, I actually hate him. And I'll be honest with you
That's perfect. That's perfect.
because he's so depraved, for lack of a better term.
I say it every time I talk about storytelling. No hero tale, period, is any good if the villain is boring. And
Correct.
now the villain doesn't have to be your depraved, perfect example of evil, but that's a great way to go. But the villain has to be interesting, engaging, and you have to either love him or hate him, because if you're ambivalent on him, if you're in the middle, the story dies. The story di-
Oh, I agree. If you don't have a good villain, especially a good foil for the heroes to go to fight against, then you're not going to have a good story. It's not going to be engaging, and you're going to lose your audience.
100%, 100%.
Now, I'm not talking about like it has to be mustache twirling type Penelope pit stop to the train tracks kind of evil, that kind of thing. But just somebody who he has no compunctions about doing what he wants to do.
His ambition is unbridled. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. I to me, the two best kinds of villains, the two most engaging villains, are the ones who are either like yours, who are just completely self-absorbed, self-focused, and they've got a plan, and they don't care who gets hurt or in the way, or the misaligned villain who is 100% convinced he's the good guy.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Yep.
One of those two, you got to have one of those. To me, and it seems sort of black and white, but honestly, in terms of storytelling, I want all my nuance in the heroes. The villains need to be worth engaging.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. I agree. Okay. I really enjoyed this talk. Thank you
Oh, me
very much.
too, Tom. It was great to meet you. This is fantastic. We're gonna cut this video up. I don't know how all this works with Substack, because this is the first time I'm doing this with the recording. We'll see. My plan is to put this up sometime later tonight. Once I have a look at what I can do after we've finished up, and we're gonna do this again. We're gonna come back. I want to see the female samurai, because honestly, the character like that in the first Suicide Squad movie was my absolute favorite in that movie. So
yeah, Katana. But I guarantee you, they're not going to read her article on screen like they did with her.
no, please, I love that.
This is Katana. She has a magic sword. She can steal your soul. Really?
We're dying to see it, Tom. I cannot wait, and I want to see that. I want to read the book. I want to read whatever it is you're going to be putting out to support all this, because that's the other thing. Is Tom's not just making the figures; he's doing the writing too. So this is a he's got a complete multimedia experience here happening. The final question I have for you: Will you will you take a commission if I give you if I find a character I want you to build for me? Will you do one for me?
Yeah, if I can, if it's feasible, absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent. We're going to talk. You and me, we're going to talk. Listen, folks, this has been a blast. I don't know how to turn this off here. They're looking for the end button. Where does they hide it on me? It's been so much fun. We're going to do this again. And all you other Substack authors out there, we're going to do this, not just Tom and I. We're going to, get together with Tom and do one, get together with me and do one. This is how we get an audience, because people want to see us talking and loving our projects. So let's do it.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a blast.